Coming up, you're going to see Charlie Kirk give his take on the United States being more secular, on Hinduism, a polytheistic religion. And at the end, I'll give you my thoughts and see if what he's saying is actually true. Let's get into the video.
As America has become more secular, which literally means without God or away from ethical monotheism at least, right? So the belief that there is one God and that there's a way for you to live and that we are all descendants from the same God. Yeah. So you think about a couple things about monotheism, which is different than pagan polytheism, different than Hinduism, different than Native American paganism, is that the first contention of monotheism is that all of us from different walks of life descend from the same being. That is human equality in a nutshell. That's where you get natural human rights. That's where you get the idea that it's not okay to kill babies and that everyone gets free speech rights and that you can't just take other people's stuff. So that's an amazing proclamation. But secondly, this idea, as we have become more secular, remove prayer from our schools, we remove the 10 Commandments from our schools, then something replaces that.
It seems like Charlie here is saying that if you're part of a polytheistic religion, you have less right. Unlike someone that's part of a monotheistic religion like Christianity, they have more rights. And what it seems like is Charlie is lacking education because he uses Hinduism as an example. And that's the complete opposite, because in Hinduism, it's more of a henotheistic religion which believes in one absolute truth, but it also recognizes that there are the deities out there. Now, Hinduism believes that the divine lives in the heart of their believers, and that we come from one family, that we all come from we are descendant of the same God, of the same deity, of the same energy force, that there are not other gods that are giving birth to other people or creating other people in different places in the world. Seems like that's what you're suggesting. Now in Hinduism, they believe in Moshka, which basically is suggesting that there's a spark of the divine in every single person. Well, that's why they believe in equality, because we look beyond the physical attributes and we see that underneath this physical layer, there's a divine spark inside of you. And you can realize that divine spark through some spiritual practices. Moshka would be one of them, but it's basically suggesting that you reach spiritual enlightenment. That's more of a Buddhist term, spiritual enlightenment. Now, the Atman, which is basically the soul, the true self, not this identity, because my name is Juan, I'm over 30 years of age, I'm a male. That's not who I am, that's the role that I'm playing here on earth. And that's something that most monotheistic religion or Abrahamic religion tend to overlook, that this is not who you're going to be when you go to the other side, when you go, let's say, to heaven, which is a higher state of consciousness. Jesus himself said it, the kingdom of heaven is within you, and he rose to heaven. He ascended into heaven. He ascended into something that's already inside of you, into a higher state of consciousness. That's exactly what Hinduism is saying. So, Charlie, it seems like you're extremely confused, because if you look at the history of the United States, equal rights, you're getting equal rights in the United States is by fighting Christians. It's not by following Christianity. That's why we have slavery. That's why women couldn't vote. That's why LGBTQ couldn't join the military and not be open about it, because of Christian nationalists and bigots like yourself. I think that you should just stick to your religion. I'm actually happy that the country is more secular now, even though I do believe in God myself, but I don't believe in the angry and jealous God of the Old Testament. A secular country is a healthier country because it's more inclusive. People have more rights. Now, let's use the 1993 Do Not Ask, Do Not Tell rule implemented by Bill Clinton, which essentially suggested that gay people, LGBTQ members, could join the military, but it was under one condition. You had to keep it to yourself, because if you were open about it, you were being discharged for that one reason. Why? Because of Christian nationalists and bigots like you. Now, if you want to compare the United States, which is a more secular country now than it was before, to a country like Uganda, 80% of the nation is Christians, you'll see that it's more problematic. There's less human rights because they're discriminating against LGBTQ. They're giving life sentence to these people just for having same-sex intercourse. They're giving them life sentence. They're murdering them. Yes, they're getting the death penalty in Uganda. And we can see problems in Nigeria as well. So for you to suggest that we need to bring the God of the Old Testament, or which is different from the God of the New Testament, back into this world, back into the United States, will be pretty problematic, because that God is not all loving. That God is angry and jealous, which, will destroy cities like Sodom and Gomorrah, which for some reason, that God wasn't all-knowing because he didn't know they were being evil. Apparently someone told him and he had to go check for himself. So that's not the real God. That's just imaginary. It's more like a fallacy. It's more like a comic book kind of God. And just to end this video, the further we are from Christianity, the more human rights we will always have. We have the rights to abortion. LGBTQ can actually play a role in the community. They can actually get jobs because we are more secular.